Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining. My name's Marzico. Now it's come to my attention that some of you haven't reached Pro yet, despite my attempts to help you out with my first video explaining what it is. But that's okay. I'm here to help you out develop some strategies for your next game. One of those strategies is called time control, where you take control of the turns and you never let your opponent play the next card. Now, granted, you give them a couple of turns in the beginning, so hopefully you don't get matched up against those hasty decks or the ones that are designed to win pretty quickly. But if you can pass that phase, you'll have plenty of opportunity to utilize some of these cards to take over the game. Now, what cards do we have as an option in order to take these turns, you say? Well, there's a couple of things we can do. There's one that I like, well, there's two that I can think of here with the cards that I have, because there's more cards. Let's go over this one. Time Stream Navigator. Put Time Stream Navigator on the bottom of its owner library. Take an extra turn after this one. Activate only if you have the City's Blessing. So what is the City's Blessing? It tells you up here. Ascend. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessings for the rest of the game. Alright, so the trick here is to pair this up with Helm of the Host, which if you equipped it to the creature, at the beginning of your combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. If equipped creature is a legendary, the token gains haste. Wait, what? Dang, they changed the rules for that. So before, the creature gained haste despite the fact if it was legendary or not, you know? It was just a thing. So in the past, I would just equip it Time Stream Navigator, create a token of it, and shuffle the token into the library, which, you know, it kind of just disappears because it's a token. But essentially, you would be gaining infinite turns with that combo. But it looks like that's out of the picture, so we're gonna just go ahead and, how do I remove this? There we go. Now, the next resources we have for time control is Alrund's Epiphany, Teferi Master of Time, and Magistrate's Scepter. Let's start with this one. You spend 3 to play it on the battlefield, put it on the battlefield, then you spend 4 to put a charge counter on it. And once you accumulate 3 charge counters, you can only do this once per turn on its own. You get to take an extra turn by removing those 3 counters. Teferi Master of Time comes in with 3 loyalty, but you can +1 loyalty on your turn and your opponent's turn. Once you reach 10 loyalty, you subtract 10, and you get to take 2 extra turns. Alrund's Epiphany. Take an extra turn after this one, if this was foretold, which means that you exiled it on the side. You get to create 2 1/1 blue bird creature tokens with flying, and then you exile this spell, Alrund's Epiphany. So, this is a card I see quite often. However, you can't very much use that in any kind of combo because it exiles itself. So we're going to take that one off, which leaves us with these 2 options. One of the things these 2 have in common is that they require counters, you know. Loyalty counts as a counter, and, you know, the charge counter of this card. So what are we going to do? We're going to make use of this thing that I like to experiment with, which is called Proliferate. So we got a couple of cards that do this. We're going to make it white-blue. We got Contentious Plan. Basically what Proliferate does is you put an extra counter on a permanent of a kind that it already has. So Contentious Plan. Flux Chandler. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Proliferate. You got this one, but the way I'm going to build this deck is with as little creatures as possible. Basically, the only creature we're going to have is Flux Chandler. We got Tezzeret's Gambit, which draws you cards, and then you can Proliferate. So this one gives you 2, this one gives you 1. They're basically the same thing, except this one's a little bit more expensive. You can opt to pay 2 life rather than the blue mana cost. It's a Phyrexian mana. If it has that little weird symbol, like circle with a line going down straight the middle, it's Phyrexian mana, and you can pay with life instead of the actual color. So essentially 2 life and 3 of any color mana to cast this, which is pretty cool. Alright, so this is what I built. It's designed for a couple of things. I noticed that I end up losing a lot with this deck, this type of deck. Mainly because, yeah, there's a lot of control, there's a lot of decks that are designed for fast-paced gameplay, but we're going to make do. So one of the things that is important is Fragment Reality. You get to exile target non-token artifact, creature, or enchantment, and its controller puts a random creature card with lesser mana value from their library onto the battlefield tapped. Another thing that it's good for is sometimes there's these decks that just pop off as soon as they have one creature on the battlefield. So like on turn 2, they're pretty much dominating the game, and there's not much you can do because of the combos that they've creatively come up with. Plus, it's kind of already well known since a lot of these decks, they're tried, tested, and proven. Anyways, so we need some cheap removal for those problematic scenarios, along with Fateful Absence for the Planeswalkers specifically, since Fragment Reality doesn't take care of these Planeswalkers. It's also an instant, so you can cast it on the opponent's turn. Sejiri Shelter. This is just 2 of, because I wanted more spells and lands. Because it's kind of cheap. You're not going to be using a lot of mana, especially as Foretold is in here. So you got a lot of free spells you can cast. You're not too worried about mana. But if you know, it just helps to be able to cast some extra spells with your Flux Channeler to add some counters on there. Anyways, Sunset Revelry. So it's good for the life gain. And if the opponent has some creatures, it's good for the bodies. You create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens. And if they have more cards than you, you get to draw an extra card. So it's a good, well-rounded card to make up for the things you're lacking. We got 4 of Contentious Plan. Because it's a Perfiliate deck. Heliod's Intervention. I use this because of the life gain and also because of the ability to destroy specific targets, specific artifacts, and enchantments. The reason being is because if Magic Mirror is on the battlefield and you're like proliferating a lot, you might end up milling yourself or like just drawing yourself out until you're doomed. So I need to get rid of this at sometimes, because especially if you're taking multiple turns, it just gets kind of problematic. But it's just kind of a stopper. Tefari's Protection, I got 2 of. As Foretold, I got 2 of these. Now I cut down from 4 to 2 because once you have 2 on there, you're pretty much good because you're mainly just casting an extra spell or 2, but it's not like critical. You're more worried about getting card draw, if anything, and kind of answers to threats on the battlefield. So this is more of a luxury. Clear the Mind, because yes, you have the possibility of milling yourself, and this is just a backup on that. Flux Channeler, 2 of them as well. We're kind of focusing on building up land and looking for these cards that we need at any given moment. So we want to minimize cards that don't really draw you stuff, I suppose, or answer potential threats. Silundai Vision. It's another spell. It lets you search the top 6 cards of your library, and you get to reveal an instant sorcery card and put it into your hand. So it kind of just chains off. So it's like a double spell if you're lucky, Saw it coming. I kind of just recently put this in there. I was thinking, if you have Foretell, which you exile it and it goes to the side. So let's say you have 5 cards, you exile this one with the Foretell skill. You got 4 cards in hand. So you're kind of trying to keep your hand in low amount of cards, so that way you can make the best of Sunset Revelry. And plus it's a counter spell, so you never know when you need it. Magistrate Scepter. I only put 1, because you only need 1. Tezzeret's Gambit, 2 of them for the card draw and the Perfiliate. Tefari, Master of Time. I got 2 of them. I don't know, I'm putting 2 of everything, or a good chunk of things. Primal Amulet. This is good because it transforms into a land after you cast your 4th spell, and then when you use that land for mana, you get to copy the spell that you cast whenever you cast it, using that mana. So these card draws will potentially get you more card draws, and you're going to exile more stuff. You basically double up your spell's effects. Doomscar? I have 3 of them. Alright, so this is good board wipe, and you can foretell it. You got Miria's Call. Create 2 4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. Non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Okay, yeah, cool. Then the Magic Mirror. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and take it out for a spin. I'll go ahead and talk through this game as well. Kind of give you the rundown of my thinking. And, hopefully after a while of, a few games you witness, maybe you might start to see things the way I do. Maybe you might see things in a better light than I do. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just keep this. We start off with the tap land since we got nothing to play in the beginning. I mean, I could save it for the cycle effect, but Yeah, I need lands right now, so I don't want to risk it. So white, probably life gain. I'm gonna go ahead and foretell this. Probably do it again next turn. Yeah, we'll do it again next turn. Actually, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we cast this, we get up 2 bodies and draw a card and an extra land. There we go. So yeah, why not? I don't know if you expected that, but it is what it is. And since they're a life gain deck, you can tell because of these cards. Every time they gain life, they gain a counter. Once they have, what is it, 10 or more counters, they're indestructible. If they have 4 more, they gain flying. So let's see here. I'm gonna foretell this, and we're gonna leave this open. So I'm gonna try to aim for an enchantment rather than a creature. I'm gonna aim for a creature. No, I'm just joking. I think I'll just aim for the Voice of the Blessed. Yeah. Actually, no, we can wait. Oh man. Alright, so we're gonna spend life to gain land. We're just focused on gaining land because we don't want to fall too far behind. There's nothing to perfiliate. I'm just doing it purely for the card draw. I guess that's a good one. Alright. Let's see what they got down. This guy's not doing too good in the lands either. Alright, perfect. And I'm gonna foretell this one too. I could hold up the counter, but you know, I'm not too worried about anything really big coming out. Alright, so let's go with this. Gain life, draw a card, decline, and we'll do it again, just for the heck of it. Gain some more life and draw another card. Since we have more creatures technically, because of these two, we don't get 2 more. Everything's kind of like, you know, depends on the situation. We got Righteous Valkyrie. And what we're gonna do is destroy that. Oh, I should probably, I don't know if I want to destroy everything because more than likely got a lot more stuff. We'll play this down as a land and counter whatever comes up. They're probably gonna play another one of these. Or maybe something more detrimental. Yeesh. Alright. Yeah, we'll counter that. Okay. I'm not putting a creature down or the flux channeler because I got nothing to proliferate with. But I will use this for the card draw. I'm trying to keep 1 mana open at all times for cases such as this. 3, 4. Do you have anything? Some sort of protection? Can I cast this? Yeah. Alright, let's see what they bring out. Heliod Suncrowned. Gains protection. So if I try to exile that, they can just sacrifice this and protect the Heliod. Okay. Okay, just indestructible. I was afraid they might have double strike. Okay, so these are enchantments. We can just destroy them. And then go in for the attack. And I'm just gonna use these because I'm digging for my cards. Yeah, I'll use the next one. Alright, let's see. What do they got now? So we'll play this down. Now that they're low in cards, we're gonna strike while it's hot. And as soon as it's their turn, if they don't have a creature, I'm gonna exile this when it tries to attack. Let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna just foretell this right now. Alright, so we got Speaker of the Heavens. I probably should just exile that. Yeah. Got nothing to proliferate, so I put 0 here. We're gonna keep the pressure up. Oh wait, that's game. Yeah, they had nothing to defend. Alright, game 1. Let's go to game 2. Alright, so we're playing against Zemnapkar. I actually recorded this video not realizing my microphone was on mute, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch it with you guys. Let's go ahead and explain what we're doing. We're playing that one first because it enters tapped and we got nothing to play on turn 1. We see that this guy's playing an elf deck of some sort, so we're just gonna try to ramp up quickly before he can build up his troops, so that way we can hopefully draw into our board wipe in time with plenty of mana to deal with what's going on. Elvish Warmaster, common type of elf that these elf decks have. Now we do have Tefari's Protection, which is good, because at some point we're not going to be able to deal with this attack, and so it's good to have in the back end. We're playing Flux Chandler just to have a body in the field, but they bypassed it with Imperious Perfect, which gave him a +1/+1 bonus. We didn't want to, trade with that, so we're just leaving it in the field. We're debating between Primal Amulet, Tefari Master of Time, Primal Amulet to reduce the spell cost. Tefari might be a better choice though, because we get to draw into other cards and get rid of the ones that are useless in our hands. Right now, Heliod looks kind of useless. Plus, it brings spells into our graveyard, so the Magic Mirror becomes cheaper in the future. So we're going to play that. And aside from that, his ability can activate on the opponent's turn, so we can phase out a creature if we need to. So we're going to get rid of Heliod. Now we got Tezzret's Gambit, which is good for, proliferating, but I don't expect Tefari to survive too long, because usually when you have a Planeswalker card, they attack it. So that was another point of playing Tefari right there, is instead of going face, we're going to mitigate some of that damage to us by having them focus on Tefari. Now since we have a body on the board, they're going to want to attack with multiple creatures instead of like 2 of them, because we could potentially block it and save it. So they're going to give it their all there. Plus they don't want to trade Imperious Perfect, which is why they're attacking with 3. So instead of phasing out Elvish, because Tefari is doomed anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue drawing and see what else we can pop out. We're probably going to get rid of Tezzret's Gambit. Yeah, I think so, because of the spells in the graveyard for the Magic Mirror. I know it has potential card draw, but we also are trying to focus on ramping up for our board wipe at some point. So we're going to go with that. Let that go through. Next turn we have a land to play. We might start off with the Magic Mirror so that we can start ramping up. I mean, not ramping up. Drawing cards. Dig through our deck faster for some answers. Okay, I think instead we're just trying to dig through our deck for some answers. We couldn't play the Magic Mirror because it's too much mana cost. So we got to keep putting spells into our graveyard. But it's okay. We have Tefari's Protection. We're going to hold it up because they're going to, throw in a pretty decent attack. That's usually what elves do at this point of the game. They might even buff up their creatures. But I'm not too sure. They don't look like they have enough mana ramp from their creatures or their lands. So we calculate the math here, and we realize that if we let this go through or block with just anything, block one creature, we're still doomed. So Tefari's protection is pretty much a necessity here. Buys us an extra turn. Now there's nothing to proliferate. It's okay. We're not worried about that right now. Opponent's reading the card. I don't think a lot of people play that card. The only bad thing about it is it exiles itself, so it doesn't go to the graveyard, so it's not food for the magic mirror. Now, here we're hoping for a board wipe, because that's all we can do, aside from Heliod's intervention, which is kind of a slim way of saving yourself, but it kind of just, you know. But we got the board wipe, so we helped. We saved ourselves. we made it through the card that we needed. Now we're getting rid of Flux Chandler with this board wipe, but it doesn't really matter. We don't have anything to add counters on the battlefield, at least. So that's when we're going to start off with the Magic Mirror, because I believe we have the mana for that now. Now we can take a hit from Steel Leaf Champion. It's only 5 damage. We still got 14 health. We're going to use our health as a resource to keep ourselves in the game longer. Magic Mirror is going to help us answer some problematic situations, and we got another Tefari's protection for those grim situations. If we get another land, we can play Primal Amulet and hold up Tefari's protection. So let's see what goes on here. He's got another Steel Leaf Champion. Keep in mind these creatures can't be blocked by other creatures that are power 2 or less. So at this point of the game, I'm thinking, you know, Tefari's protection, since it's a reduced cost, and then after that maybe Heliod's intervention, just to survive some, you know? You gain some health, because we're going to be at 9 after this. So let's see, potentially we'd be healing 1, 2, 3, 4 by 8 points. Lana War Elves. Okay, so now we're drawing 3 cards. Plus our main card. So we got another land. And it looks like we have enough to play Emiria's Call. So we're going to go ahead and do that for the bodies, since their toughness and power is 4/4. And they can block those Steel Leaf Champions. I'm also checking their lands to see if they have like a creature land, which they do on the upper left layer of the Hydra. But I don't think the opponent utilizes it too much, especially since they're low on mana. And they're going to go for an all-out attack with Elvish Chancellor boosting them up. Fortunately, I can still survive some damage. They don't attack with the Lana or Elves. They could have. I'm going to double block here. Not really caring too much because we do have a lot of healing potentially here. Ooh, and we got Fragment Reality. So let's go to heal up, add some bodies here, block some of the creatures, put a land down, maybe, oh yeah, Contentious Plan, so that way we can transform our Primal Amulet into a land. Plus we're gonna, I think, put the counter on the Magic Mirror, some more card draw in the future. Oh, yep, we get to exile 2 creatures with Fragment Reality. So now we're slowly gaining advantage on the board. And at this point, it's okay to bring out those other creatures that can boost up their other elves, because they're low on land, you know? And I feel pretty comfortable not fearing for anything bad to happen in the next turn. So we're gonna go ahead and foretell saw it coming. Now right now we can't really counter anything because Allosaurus Shepherd has an ability that prevents their creatures from being countered. But for some reason, they decide to attack with it. So we're gonna double block that and block the Lana War Elves. So now we're coming up with some answers. Now we're just, we got a lot of things to do here. Probably put the Mage's Scepter so that we can start, you know, making some counters off of that. Pass it on though, just to see what they do. Thankfully we got rid of that Allosaurus. We're making sure not to use our transform land because we don't need to double spell our counter. This is where he decides to use his land. I'm gonna go ahead and Fateful Absence this, so that way we get rid of their land, potential threat in the future, as well as an extra creature. Now it does give them tokens so they can draw, but I'm not too worried about them drawing to any good cards. I guess Collected Company, which searches their top so many cards for 2 creatures, total mana value 3 or less, I think, and places them on the battlefield. So because of that, I'm gonna get Doomscar. Concerned about that Collected Company card. It's a green 3-cost sorcery, I believe, or 4-cost. We're still low on health, but it looks like we drew a lot of lands and stuff to, a lot of ways to heal up, especially with that Sunset Revelry. Well, that's mainly our only way to heal up. We're just gonna start foretelling stuff because we don't know what we're doing at this point. We're just going with the flow, man. We'll use the double spell, the copy ability of Primal Wellspring, to heal up by 8 points, and we're gonna put a charge counter now. Still not too afraid of, losing at any time soon. See, they're gonna utilize the tokens to draw some more cards, hopefully get some answers for themselves. Alright, let's see, what do we have in our graveyard? How many cards do we have? That's the question. So we're drawing a lot of cards with the Magic Mirror. We don't want ourselves to get milled out. So they sacrificed the Llanowar Elves, so that way Narman Renegade can come in with that extra counter. It's kind of overwhelming at this point with all these cards, but let's go ahead and play that down so that way we can cast the spell for free. I don't know what we're gonna do. Let's see. Probably play the Flux Chandler. Alright, exile their creatures. Make sure we take off the Perfiliate effect from the Magic Mirror, because we are pretty high on cards, or low on cards in the library. See, we're gonna search for that 3-cost shuffle effect card. I forgot what it's called. Clear the Mind. There we go. And yeah, just transform. Oh no, add another turn for the Mage's Scepter. Now we're at 4 counters, so that means if we remove 3, we keep 1, and we can still keep adding counters since all 3 didn't get, since all the counters didn't get removed. This means whenever we cast a spell, the Flux Chandler's ability will still affect the Magistrate Scepter. Now we got Teferi. Why not just play him, Proliferate this dude, and we might get rid of the Magic Mirror pretty soon because we don't want to be drawing too much cards. I don't want to draw cards as much, so I'm not using the copy effect of the Wellspring. Let's see. We'll just play that. There's no need to hold on to it. Thought we had the Heliod's Intervention, or I forgot what it's called. Anyways, we're just doing whatever. Let's see. Yeah, Heliod's Intervention. Destroy the Magistrate Scepter. At this point, it doesn't matter too much. We already got enough cards, and we're just gonna, get rid of whatever. We're not gonna concern ourselves with what we're tossing away, because pretty much we got everything in lockdown. We got an extra turn. We can decide that next turn. Start foretelling stuff, though, that's for sure. And, why not just cast that for free, because we got As Foretold. Let's see. Attack. Before I forget, we're going to have to activate the Magistrate Scepter. And then, let's see, just get rid of whatever. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm getting rid of at this point. Except, making sure I keep Clear the Mind, because it's the only way we can shuffle our deck back. We only got 2 of those in the library, so don't want to get rid of it just yet. And we're not using Teferi's ability because since we're like perfiliating a lot, just kind of might as well use his ultimate on our turn, And at this point, we're looking for ways to add bodies to the board, see how we're gonna, take him down, because it is kind of dragging on. We need to take infinite turns. Probably foretell that. After using Tefari's ability, of course. Now we got 3 extra turns coming up. I'm not too concerned about casting all these spells right away. Alright, Perfiliate, Proliferate. You guys might get upset with me with my mispronunciations of these words. We got Miria's Call, so we can play this. And since we're competent, instead of 2 angel 4/4 angel creatures, we're getting 4. So that pretty much guarantees our victory at this point. But I don't know. I was in the mindset of just extra turns. We got 5 extra turns potentially. And you know, it's a good game no matter what way you think about it, because the opponent just can't take any more turns at this point of the game. That's how you. That's the strategy, man. That's the strategy we're aiming for with this deck. Just infinite turns. There's no need to cast more spells. You know, just end it. But that's it. All right, that's game 2. All right, so that's my time control deck. You see how it plays out. Basically, yeah, you just kind of hope for the best with your card draws. Put a whole bunch of card draws, get some good answers to common problematic situations, and hopefully you get to the point where you can just pop off and just have your infinite turn combo. And yeah, it's kind of slow to get your your troops out to deal some damage, mainly because there's hardly any creatures except there's 3 cards that really bring your creatures out, which is the Sunset Revelry, which is really dependent on the person if they have creatures. At which point, when you're at your combo stage, you probably are not going to have any creatures to deal with or to like compare with, because you more than likely doomscarred everything. Then you have Flux Channeler, which is only 2, and then you have your Emiria's Call. I should probably have more of those actually in this deck. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing this deck, and if you have any comments, suggestions, or ideas that you want to see for the next video, or maybe you just want some questions answered, go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section below, and let me know what you think. Thank you for joining, and take care.